The Edgar Allan Poe Incident. The mysterious death of Edgar Allan Poe. He was found delirious in the streets of Baltimore, dressed in another man's clothes, whispering a name that led nowhere. And within 4 days, he was dead. No cause, no clarity, only a riddle that feels like the ending he never wrote. An unfinished manuscript found in a bottle. Baltimore, October 1849. The city breathed fog. A pale, sickly light seeped between the narrow row houses, drifting across the cobblestones like a ghost searching for a name. The harbor wind dragged the mist through the streets in long, cold ribbons, stirring fallen leaves and quiet whispers in the alleys. Whispers that might have drifted from the telltale heart. And then, there was the man, collapsed outside Ryan's Fourth Ward polls, clothes hanging from him as if borrowed from a stranger, face pale, eyes lost in some unseen world. Edgar Allan Poe. To the people passing by, he must have looked like a figure torn straight from one of his own stories, fragile, fractured, and impossibly out of place. A wanderer caught between reality and the uncanny, like the doomed narrators of The Fall of the House of Usher or The Black Cat. Joseph W. Walker, the man who found him, later wrote only a single clear truth. Poe was in great distress and in need of immediate assistance. No one could explain how Poe ended up there. No one knew how long he'd been wandering the storm-cooled streets. But the city had changed him. Or something had. He was taken to Washington College Hospital, where the world narrowed to a dim room and a dying light. There, in the last hours of his life, Poe slipped between realities, agitated, exhausted, reaching toward apparitions no one else could see, as if trapped in his own dreamland. He repeated one name, Reynolds. Was it a friend? A foe? A final memory drifting to the surface? Or the last fragment of a dream unraveling, like the haunted refrain of The Raven? No answer ever appeared. And before the sun rose on October 7th, Poe was gone. Not with a dramatic cry, not with clarity, just a quiet collapse into the same dark ambiguity that shaped his fiction, an ending worthy of The Mystery of Marie Roget, where clues mislead and answers dissolve. In the days that followed, people searched for certainty. But Baltimore, its records scattered, its medical system frail, offered none. There was no listed cause of death, no doctor's certificate, no neat paper trail to follow. Only gaps, only contradictions, only shadows. Rumors filled the void. Some pointed to alcohol, though those who knew him claimed he could hardly tolerate it. Others whispered the word Cooping, a brutal election scheme in which victims were beaten, disguised, and forced to vote again and again. It would explain the location. It would explain the clothes. It would explain the dazed, broken man found in the mud, a man as trapped as any character in The Pit and the Pendulum. Others spoke of illness, rabies, cholera, diabetic collapse, or perhaps a long-hidden condition, hinted at decades later when a hard mass was found in a fragment of his skull. An observation never studied, forever locked in speculation. Each theory is a door, none of them open all the way. And the city, still cloaked in its October fog, keeps the rest to itself. Poe was buried quickly, in a small funeral nearly swallowed by rain. Only a handful of mourners stood at the graveside. No fanfare, no grand farewell. Just a writer lowered into an unmarked plot while the wind curled around the umbrellas like a mourning veil, an ending as bleak as the premature burial. Then came the obituary. Rufus Wilmot Griswold, complicated in life, venomous in death, etched a cold verdict into print. Edgar Allan Poe is dead. And with that, he began shaping a legend built from exaggeration, resentment, and convenient untruths. It took decades to untangle the myth from the man. But even stripped of rumor, Even stripped of Griswold's cruelty, one truth remains. Poe's death reads like Poe. A city of fog, a man found in borrowed clothes, a final delirious whisper, and silence, so much silence, where answers should have been. A mystery that would have suited the murders in the Rue Morgue. We do not know where he walked in those missing days. We do not know who he spoke to or what visions filled his mind. We do not know who Reynolds was. We do not know what broke him. And maybe Baltimore intends to keep it that way, because some stories are not meant to be solved. Some endings refuse to yield. And some mysteries, like the man who wrote of shadows, madness, and the thin veil between life and death, are destined to remain unfinished. Edgar Allan Poe left the world the way he wrote about it, half in darkness, half in dream, and entirely unforgettable. A final tale without an ending, a final question without an answer, a final mystery in the October fog, his last unwritten tale of the grotesque and arabesque. If you enjoyed this literary incident, subscribe for more strange intersections from the history of writing.